Science fiction was invented by a 19-year-old goth girl in 1818. I know what you're thinking. No way. Sounds fake. And you'd be kind of right, but not really. Frankenstein, or the modern Prometheus, rocked up on the Victorian literary scene and reanimated the Gothic genre, capital G. The work gained wide praise for its writing style and ingenuity, while also upsetting a lot of people with the idea of science being used for evil. I'm not convinced it was evil, just the rampant curiosity of a protagonist with zero chill. Oh, and there was also that bit about Victor marrying his cousin that people hated, but I guess when you're besties with Lord Byron, you don't really bat an eye. And they also thought a man wrote Frankenstein. Mary Wollstonecraft Goodwin, later Mary Shelley, was born into one of the most influential families of the era. Mary's mother, also called Mary Wollstonecraft, is still regarded as one of the founding feminist philosophers. Say that 3 times fast. She firmly believed that men and women be treated equally, and that the only reason women were seen as inferior was the lack of education. Mary Shelley's father, William Goodwin, was an anarchist. Her mother died shortly after Mary was born, thus beginning her goth girl existence and her childhood spent at her mother's graveside. Despite that, Mary's childhood was overall a happy one. If you overlook the evil stepmother and her family being in constant debt, a thread which unfortunately carried through her adult life as well. One of her father's political followers just so happened to be Percy Shelley. They met, Percy was smitten, Mary was smitten, and given that he'd already become estranged from his wife, he started courting Mary. She was 16 and he was 21. They met in secret, of course, at her mother's grave. And according to rumor, and I'm choosing to believe it's true because it just seems fitting, Mary and Percy enjoyed their first amorous congress on that very grave. Everyone wants a goth girlfriend until they realize they've got nothing on Mary Shelley. Unfortunately for her, when Mr. Goodwin found out about her relationship with Percy, he was pissed. He cut her off financially because how dare she get into a relationship with an already married man? And so with the help of her stepsister Claire, Percy and Mary eloped and ran off to France. Sounds romantic, right? Remember what I said about that whole debt thing? Yeah, they were broke. And Mary had become pregnant. Her father refused to help her, leaving the pair to figure it out on their own. Occasionally, Percy would disappear from time to time in order to dodge creditors, so I can't imagine it was really a whirlwind romance. But, you know, they were happy, I guess. Unfortunately, Mary wasn't having the best time. Pregnancy made her extremely ill, and then you add that Percy was likely sleeping with her stepsister, Claire, you know, the one who helped them run off. And Mary had to deal with Percy's wife, because yes, he's still married, having Percy's son, which of course Percy was absolutely delighted about. Kind of a strange thing when you've abandoned your wife and children, but you know, whatever. Both Percy and Mary believed in free love, and I guess as a token, he tried to hook her up with a different friend, but Mary only had eyes for Percy. Unless he proposed to go skinny dipping. She was real mad about that one. Sadly, things only got worse. Mary's daughter was born 2 months premature, and she didn't survive. Mary found herself constantly plagued by nightmares. I mean, on the upside, at least their financial difficulties improved. Percy's grandfather had died, and he had subsequently inherited a lot of money. Soon, Mary became pregnant again and had their son, William. We then get to the infamous ghost story contest in Geneva. Mary, Percy, William, and Claire, who's now pregnant with Byron's child, met up with Byron and John Polidori for a summer of boating, writing, and chatting late into the night. It sounds like it would be really fun once you got past Byron trying to sleep with everyone and probably succeeding. That guy needs his own episode. It was Byron that proposed the ghost story contest, and Mary kind of freaked out about it. She couldn't think of a story. She racked her brain for weeks, but it was after a conversation about life and the potential of reanimation using electricity that a sleepless Mary saw the first vision of her waking terrors. I saw the pale student of unhallowed arts kneeling beside the thing that he had put together. I saw the hideous phantasm of a man stretched out, and then, on the working of some powerful engine, show signs of life, and stir with an uneasy, half-vital motion. Frightful must it be, for supremely frightening would be the effect of any human endeavor to mock the stupendous mechanism of the creator of the world. Okay, I guess if you toss the word unhallowed in there, there might be a little bit of evil. Frankenstein, or the modern Prometheus, has been the inspiration for countless movies, music, television, and art. The original text is worth the read, capturing the overtures of isolation, abandonment, and loneliness while wanting to experience love. The two films, Frankenstein and The Bride of Frankenstein, were both directed by James Whale, one of the first openly gay directors in Hollywood in the 1930s. And overall, they stay pretty true to the text. I highly recommend them. Of course, Mary didn't get the recognition she deserved. No, Percy had to be a co-collaborator, even though the remaining notebooks in which Frankenstein was originally penned only have minor corrections at best. Percy edited. He contributed to the foreword. And honestly, Percy was fervently in support of Mary's work. So it's not like he was actively trying to steal the credit. People just assumed that women couldn't write gruesome things. The little family, still including Claire, frequently traveled and relocated, searching for freedom from England. Mary would go on to lose 2 more children, the son, William, and a daughter, experience a terrible miscarriage that nearly killed her, and her depression and isolation only grew. Instead of taking care of Mary, Percy continued with his flings. I'm pretty sure Percy loved Mary deeply. I mean, they could hardly stand being away from each other, but what a jerk. Okay, I get it. You don't believe in conventional marriage. That's cool. The Shelleys had several friends who were in the queer, bi, and even polyamorous community. Like I said, they both believed in free love. All of it was a really big deal for the 1800s. But my guy, maybe spend some more time with your grieving wife and not your affair partners. Okay? And then Percy died. He drowned at sea, his body washing up on the shore days later. Louis-Edouard Fournier painted The Funeral of Shelley, one of my favorite pieces, depicting the funeral pyre Byron and their friends made to cremate the poet. Other than the burning body, center stage is our boy Byron, looking every bit the windswept hero. That guy, man. As the story goes, Percy's body burned, but his heart refused to catch the flame. This was probably because it was calcified, because Percy was in terrible health, but that doesn't make the story as cool or romantic. Byron reached in to pluck it out, later gifting it to Mary. It all sounds overly dramatic until you learn that after her death, her only living son and daughter-in-law found a silk parcel wrapped in a page of Percy's Adonais, containing his ashes and the remains of his heart. She'd carried it everywhere. Actually, a different friend had the audacity to claim that his love for his friend Percy outweighed Mary's claim and that he should get to keep Percy's heart, but Byron, being the real bro that he was, stepped in and convinced the other guy to give it to Mary. Mary continued writing her whole life, using her work as a mirror for her own experiences. Many of her characters are based on her friends, and of course, on Percy. Her male characters often succumb to greed and toxic masculinity, in contrast to her reasonable and sensible women. The queer tones in her work are undeniable, reflecting Mary's own relationships with men and women. After Percy's death, Mary did not remarry. She had a couple of dabbles here or there, but her heart only belonged to the poet. Remarkably, Mary was a respected writer in her time, editing and publishing her husband's work after he passed, and writing several more novels of her own. She was only reduced to Percy Shelley's wife after her death. Even her authorship of Frankenstein is questioned, but having read Percy's work, I don't think he could level up that much. Mary Shelley deserves more credit, even today, and she's finally getting the recognition she deserves. She's the mother of what would become modern science fiction, and she has earned every ounce of praise and respect. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button and subscribe for more Gothic, capital G, literary figures. Who should I talk about next? Leave suggestions in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.